God is good to you.
Yes. Amen.
Yes. Been through a lot. I ain't complaining. All right. Oh, yes. Amen. Notice our scripture is easy to be found in Romans, the 10th chapter. Brothers, murmur and sigh and pray to God, that they might be saved. Well, that's the record. They know the will of God, but not according to knowledge. What about to establish their own righteousness, and have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God? Christ is the end of the law for righteousness, everyone that believeth. For Moses describes righteousness, which is of the law. The man who doeth those things shall live by them. But the righteousness which is of faith speaks on this wise, saying, denied not heart. Who shall ascend into heaven? That is to bring Christ down from above. Or who shall ascend into the deep? That is to bring up Christ again from the dead. But what saith it? The word is nigh thee, even in thy mouth and in thy heart. That is word of faith, which we preach. That if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and believe in thy heart that God hath raised Jesus from the dead, thou shalt be saved. I read 10 verses of the same chapter. May the Lord have blessing to the reader and the hearer.
Amen.
Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Happy Sunday. And happy Black History Month.
Amen.
And thank you all for coming out and joining us this Sunday on this beautiful program we put on every year. My name is Bianca Lyons. Look at my phone. I'm getting old, you know, so I gotta... Never ain't like it used to be, I'll tell you what. But I think Black History Month is very important to me because there are a lot of important Black figures that I look up to. That I feel like their memory must continue on. But I want to talk about someone who inspired me to be who I am today. When I was younger, when I was a kid, years ago, I played a lot of video games. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know that I love playing video games. Does anyone here play games? Or is it Alright. But imagine a world where your grandkids, your nieces and nephews, they couldn't play video games. I see some of you are recording on your phones right now. The man who pioneered these personal computers is a man named Mark Dean. Before we had personal computers, I had a big desktop that was in the living room in the corner that my family had to share. So I couldn't watch YouTube videos on my tablet. I had to sit in the corner with a big computer that my family shared. Mark Dean is a brilliant computer scientist and engineer who created the personal computer. Now, a personal computer is your tablets, it's your phones, They were just huge servers that used to be along the wall. Because of his brilliance, they are now something that is small, and they're becoming more and more powerful every single day. As you can see, we have AI now. Mark Dean is the Black man who created that technology that we can all appreciate today.
Amen.
Gotta go back to my speech. So the coolest part about Mark Dean is he was just a kid like me. And when I was a kid, I learned about him, and I realized the things that you can create with just your curiosity, your determination. He had this idea, and it's changed the world for the better. And that's something that really inspired me. So when I went to school, I decided to study computer science too. Because if he can make it, why can't I? So I wanted to create the video games that little kids play today. I want to create the websites that people use every single day. And that's something that Black men inspire me to do, right? And so that's why I think it's important that we have this program here today, because there are a lot of historical figures that we don't even know about. How many people knew about Mark Dean? That's why this is important. I hope years from now I create something that leaves such an impact that somebody is standing here today and says, "Who knows the Lions?"
Amen.
So
Amen.
I want to thank you all for coming here today. That was basically the majority of my speech. We're going to start the program here soon. But I think that engineering is important and science is important, but I feel like we all kind of forget about the small things as well. Trade schools are always important. And I feel like has something we can bring into the world. It doesn't have to be STEM, you know. And I don't want people to kind of grow up with this idea that they have to. Okay, now I'm nervous. As long as you have an idea, just go after it. You know, I think the biggest pillars of being successful is obsession. You have to really want it. You know, if you do it every single day, and that's all you do, you have no choice but to do it. And I don't think failure is the bottom. Rock bottom is not failure. I failed. Who hasn't failed a couple classes? You know? Calculus was hard. Not a lot of people took calculus. So the fact that I was able to get in those positions really showed that I was already at the top. I'm already so far ahead of a lot of people. So just because you fail doesn't mean it's the end.
That's right. That's right.
It's what you do after the mistake. The mistake is not a period. You know? It's a comma.
There you go.
And so that's what I want a lot of younger kids to understand. You know, just because something, it doesn't stop. What you do afterward determines who you are. And that is the obsession. You know, that is perseverance. That is passion. You know, what do you want to do? Then go out and do it. You know, I feel like the climate that we have is a lot of people telling you what you can't do and what you should do, right? And who you are. You know, just because of the color of your skin, they want to tell you what you can't do. Look in a mirror and tell yourself that you can.
That's right. That's right.
Even though I failed a couple classes and had to restart, I'm still in the position where I am today. You know, working at General Motors, it's a big thing for me. You know?
All right.
I did not see a lot
Look
of
like
black
she's
women
16.
in my computer science classes or in any of my engineering classes. You know, I wanted to pave the way for everyone else. Just because they didn't look like me doesn't mean that you can't be me.
All right. All right.
And again, that's why I think this Black History program is very important. Even though I'm really nervous to stand in front of you all today, I was
Doing a good job.
Because you have a lot of older people talking to you, and a lot of people talk to me, but it's not until someone says something and it finally clicks. You're like, oh, okay, you know. And it's not until you continue doing something again and again and again. You're like, oh, okay, you know. So it's okay to be 9 years old and not know what to do. It's okay to be 19 years old and not know what to do. But as long as you go out into the world and at least try, you'll find a way. You know? And as long as you at least try to listen to what people are trying to tell you, you'll find your way. You know? And so that's one of the. There's a lot of people who impacted me. One of them being my dad, Jeremiah, because he constantly talked to me. You know? And finally, I woke up one day and he said something and it clicked. You know? So I hope me stumbling and going on and babbling kind of clicks for someone in the audience. You know? And I hope you wake up tomorrow a better version of yourself than you were today.
Amen.
And do that every single day.
Amen. Amen.
You guys play chess? I think that when I was younger, I played a lot of chess. So I played a lot of video games, I also played a lot of chess. And I think chess has allowed me to also be where I am at today, because it taught me a lot of skills that you also kind of learn being out in the world, right? It teaches you about thinking ahead. It teaches you about critical thinking. Critical thinking is something that's really important because you turn on TV today, they'll tell you what you should think, right? They'll tell you about, again, if you listen to what people are telling you, they'll tell you about someone's skin color kind of determines where you are in society, right? Where your ranking is and what your determination and worth is. Critical thinking tells you, I can think outside the box. I don't have to do it that way. You know? Playing chess is a lot of variations and openings and defenses. You kind of learn that there's a lot of different paths to take to get to the end of the game, right? And so your path is not going to look like everyone else's path. So again, bringing back to Black History Day, there's a lot of people who made it to the top but they made it different ways. Right? Steve Harvey, Jay-Z, right? Chris Rock, Will Smith. They all had different paths. They all had different struggles. You know, some people slept in their car for a very long time and were homeless, and they still made it. You know, your path is not going to look like every historical figure, and it's okay again to fail and look at it. You know? And so, again, going back to chess, I feel like because I picked something, I picked a hobby to do, I was able to learn something from it, whether I learned it or not, right? And so I think there's a lot of people who kind of just don't do anything. You know, if you do the same thing day in and day out, you're not going to learn, right? And so sometimes you have someone who says, yeah, I know I failed the test, but I tried. And what did you do? You know, I studied 10 minutes before. Okay. Right? If you really want something, I think the biggest thing, again, that I really want to emphasize is you have to go out and do it. You have to go get it. You know, you can't do the same thing every single day and expect it to happen. Right? So even though you have these historical figures and these great people, they still tried. It's all they did. You know, some people didn't have a social life, right? And so nowadays, what's really popular is our streamers, right? People who play video games and people sit there and watch them play video games. It's a very good thing, you know. And I know some people in our generation are like, wow, all we do is sit there and play video games and you watch them. That's crazy, right?
And they get
But
paid.
they're making millions of dollars.
Sure enough.
Start off that way. He just did. Kai Cenat did not make $1 million tomorrow. If you look at his old stuff, he was on like a $10 little camera. You could barely see him, and he was doing it for hours. And I bet his mom said, "You're not getting anywhere with that," you know. But because he was obsessed with it, that was his passion. He did it every single day, you know. And so he made it to the top, right? Because he actually did something, you know. If you're sitting there watching Kai Cenat every day and say, "I want to do that," yeah, good luck with that. You know, you have to actually try and do it as well, you know. And so I think again that the biggest thing that I want people to know is you can do it and you can have it if you just reach out and grab it.
All right.
You know? Another thing that is coming to mind as I'm rambling. When I was in elementary school, we had this chant, right? And we stood outside every single day. From pre-K all the way to 5th grade, we would line up in front of school, you know, right up to get the bus. And they would have us say this chant every single day, you know. And I think it's a really powerful chant. I still remember to this day that I kind of want to say here with you guys. Not embarrassing, but I just kind of really I'm smart and I'm strong. And I'm ready for whatever comes along. And I got good friends that stick together until the end. And I'm able to do whatever I put my mind to. I like myself, I'm worth a lot. I like myself, I'm worth a lot. I like myself, I'm worth a lot. Don't say I'm not, because you can't see inside of me what my heart can perceive, what my mind can believe, I can achieve. My heritage is one of greatness, and I know I can do more. I must never ever do less than those who come before.
All right.
Very, very powerful. And I feel like having a family in front of the school and chant that every single day as a child, it really puts something in your mind. You know, it really tells you that I can do it. You can't tell me I can't, and every single person who comes after me will look at me as an example and say I can do that and more, right? I hope my sisters do better than me. I do, you know, because that means their kids after them will do better than them, right? Every single time somebody does better than me, we're on top. You know, as a family, we're achieving. You know, we're inspiring everyone. You know, they don't have to go through what I went through. You know, I hope I paved the way. So that way, you know, when you walk in the snow and you see those footprints, you just kind of step in them and make your path easier.
Yes.
Is that not the goal?
Yes. Yeah.
Something that my sister told me that really hit me hard was when I graduated. The day I graduated college, she looked at me and said, "Wow, now that you did it, I know I can do it."
Amen. Amen.
I did not realize I was that big of a role model. You know, I only focused on my own struggles, what I was going through. And so to see that I impacted her doing something that I didn't even think twice about, it really shows how it kind of trickles down. You know, how what you're doing matters. You know, how people are watching you when you don't realize they're watching. You know, and that's why it's important to get up and do the right thing, right? It's important to show how it's done so they can do it too. You know, Black History Month is about remembering the role models, past there's a lot of great current role models. You are a role model, whether you know it or not. You know? So I don't know how long I can stay out there and ramble some more. I think that's all the wisdom my 29-year-old self has. But again, I want to thank you all for coming out here. It's a beautiful Sunday, and I'm honored that my auntie has asked me to speak at Communal today. And again, I will continue this every year, so I look forward to seeing all these familiar faces and more, you know, bring your family, bring someone important to you, and bring someone you want to inspire, you know, and show them that it is possible. Right? Show them the importance of being black, right? While black people in America continue to grow, right? While we are the innovators. Mark Dean was in America, right? We have computers here, we're doing things here that other countries are looking at, right? We have athletes here that other people are looking at. I don't see a Steph Curry in Europe, you know? I don't see it. It's important that we kind of recognize where we are so we can teach everyone else. You know, we are the teachers, we are the leaders, we are the ones out there marching and being with everyone else. You know, that stuff comes with hardship, but we go out and do it. You know, and that's something that I want other people to acknowledge and remember and teach. So thank you.